Greetings all, Shane Bruce with the Restomod Daisy. Well, guess what, kids? Another box of guns showed up, and I'll be working on several of them and keeping one here for the Remuda. So let's start with the gun here in the very front. This is a Daisy Model 94. It is not the Red Ryder. You'll notice that this one has a really short buttstock. We're talking 10¼ inches maybe from center of the trigger to the top of the heel. You know, so it's one of their youth rifles they built. But it's still got all those really neat Model 94 features. We've got the 3-star lever on a straight grip stock. It's got the flip peep rear sight. Flips up, flips down, flips up, flips down. And it traveled down to the front of the gun. Oh, let's stop, look at this. This is a nicely polished barrel band that came on a 94. You'll see the slightly Indian motif there. And it's also got a little point at the bottom so you can put a sling on it, should you want to. And what really makes this kind of weird on the 94 is we've got a barrel band with decoration, we've got a sling point. When we slide down to the muzzle, there's the infamous hook front sight, and yet another sling point. So I guess you could sling this gun in a tight short sling, just on the top of the gun, and throw it over your shoulder and off you go. It is, I believe, a Plymouth, Michigan gun. Can we make that out? Oh, that is really faint. All right, this one's been buffed. No, it says Plymouth, Michigan right there. I'm just trying to roll it around and back off enough to, there we go. Serial number, register number, and then as we roll up, you might be able to make that out, but not. With the naked eye, you can see it. But this gun's been buffed and repainted, and you can tell that by taking a look at the offside here. You can see the scratch marks down there where the paint is scarred and scored. So whatever we got repainted with was not as durable as the original Daisy enamel. So we're basically going to put a new set of stocks on this gun. We're going to take the paint off and fire blue it, and then do a function check on it, make sure she runs as hot as she can. The next gun we're going to look at is this one, and this is the very first one of these I've ever had my mitts on. This is a Daisy number 108 Model 39, which actually predates the number 111 Model 40, which was the first Red Ryder. Now, the 108 Model 39 is not a Red Ryder. There is no logo on the buttstock. There's no legend to that effect on the top of the receiver. It's kind of cool because it has a genuine cast iron lever. Ooh, cast iron. And that is a chunky puppy. Let's take a look at the roll stamp on this one. Daisy, the old style script. Really nice. Manufactured in Plymouth, Michigan. And there we have the number 108 Model 39 carbine with a couple of different patent dates. It's in pretty good nick. The original surface was blued, and there's still some blue there. I don't know how it's going to end up when I'm done with it, but these were always distinctive because of the fact that they had the very short forearm. You'll compare it to the Model 111 number 40 up above, you'll see it's about half the length of that. And the thing about this gun is the forearm makes no attempt to cover the front end of the receiver. It just picks up where the barrel shroud shrinks and stops where the barrel shroud shrinks again. Kind of a stylistic look. And these are what the Slim Jim stocks that we've been building are basically modeled on. Only our stocks are a bit more, artistic, I believe. It's a bottle cap Daisy. Got the lightning loader feature down here, removable bottle cap lightning loader. Because of the shortened barrel shroud, this is probably a 500 round gun, maybe a 350, because you'll notice that the difference in length here between the Model 39 and the 111 Model 40 is pretty extreme. But still in all, the very first one of the 108 Model 39s that I've had, and I'm looking forward to working on this one, seeing what we can get it to go, how fast we can make it run. Now, the next two guns are going to be reworked and sent back to the owner. They're both number 111 Model 40s, and they're both pretty old guns. They have the really nice Fred Harmon logo imprints, logo on the Red Ryders on the left side of the buttstock. The one at the top is peculiarly interesting because it's got a couple things on it that I've never seen on another Red Ryder. Let's roll over here and take a look at this. This is a copper-plated trigger, and I have never seen one of those on a Red Ryder of this vintage. I've never seen one on another Red Ryder either. any kind of Red Ryder. And let's roll down, we'll take a look at the very coppery barrel band for the 4-stock. And it's got excellent color. I mean, it looks almost brand new. And then roll on down the end of the muzzle. And this is a copper muzzle band that is peened in place. Now you'll notice that that hole there looks like somebody took a punch and punched it into it to stake the barrel band, the copper-plated barrel band, and that's exactly what did happen. Let's roll down to the one just below it. And this is an example of what a welded barrel band looks like. There's a hole there, but it's a contact spot weld. It looks entirely different than the peen barrel band. So this gun is suffering from, both guns actually are suffering from the same malady. I'm not going to try and get you a shot down the barrel shroud because it's really hard to get that done with this camera. But what has occurred is that both of these guns, the shot tubes that were in them, have threaded into the abutment washer, which sits about right there. And then in the process of getting detached, removed, taken out, they split off. The threaded section broke off from the shot tube and lodged itself in the abutment washer. So they got a little piece of steel in here that is stuck in a hole. And that means that you can't put a shot tube in this gun right now until that gets dismounted, gets removed, gets the occlusion cleared, clean out the hole, rethread it maybe. Depends on how bad it is in there. And then it'll be able to run again. So both of these guns, both guns, suffer from that syndrome. They have occluded abutment washers, so they cannot function currently. Now that also means that they've also got broken off shot tube assemblies, because these guns are the vintage that would have used the leather style, old school air tubes. So when you look down the breech, you don't see an air tube because that's gone. And what you do see is the stub of the air tube without an air tube out of it. That's what's in the plunger assemblies right now. I don't know that for a fact, but well, I know it for a fact because there's no air tube sticking into the barrel shroud. So those are busted off and those are busted up. We'll get those out and see what the story is. This one has also got a dismounted rear sight. Now this is going to be a really finicky thing to fix because it was originally spot welded to the top of the receiver. And then you'll see down here on the 39, you see that screw right there? That's an elevation adjustment for the rear sight, so you can walk it up and down. And you can see just the beginnings of a hole underneath the rear sight bridge itself. Well, that's the hole that's right here, because that small pin has to go into the hole and then slip forward to get underneath this lip to give it a point to bear on that doesn't interfere with the mainspring. And you can see a bit of mainspring right there, so there may be some other issues in here that we're not quite cognizant of yet until we get it cracked and open. So, those are the guns that came in today. Like I said, the two 111 40s and the Model 94 are going back to the receiver, and the Model 39 will join the Remuda here at Restomod Daisy until we can figure out what to do with it, or until somebody wants it more than we do. That's all we've got for you tonight, kids. This is Shane Bruce with Restomod Daisy, signing off.